Hello everyone, today we are breaking down Season 1, Episode 7, Course Correction of Dexter Resurrection. But before that, remember to like the video, helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. The first thing we see is the group, Al, Dexter, and Gareth arrive at Leon Prader's estate. In the last episode, Dexter thought he killed Gareth, but it turns out he has a twin, which is making Dexter very nervous. Like, did the dead twin ever say what he was doing that night? That he was going to follow Dexter, because if he did, Dexter could be found out here. Charlie and Leon are talking with one another. Charlie is very concerned about the security here. This is a wide open area. Leon is a famous philanthropist. She doesn't want him to be seen with these people, because if they ever do get caught, the press would go crazy. Why is Leon hanging with killers? Leon kind of snaps at her, which I've started to notice he kind of has a bit of a temper. Leon lets the group know that Mia took her life in jail. Al is very sad, but the others don't seem to care much. Dexter ponders in his head if that is actually the case, or if they had her killed. Leon makes a toast to her memory. Dexter gets a text message from Harrison. Harrison wants to go on a tour at a college today and wants Dexter to come with. He is going for criminology, so following in his old man's footsteps. Dexter says he will be there, though he doesn't know how long this whole thing is going to last. We also find out that Dexter, as well as Al, will be presenting today. We saw this in episode 4 with Lowell. Basically, give a presentation on your process, what you do when you commit a murder. Dexter isn't exactly prepared and is a bit nervous about it. As we know, he isn't Red Schmidt. Are they going to see through his lie when he starts talking about how he commits the murders? We start with Alan. He has GoPro footage of one of his murders, and it is very disturbing. He's on a trail riding a bike, he fakes a crash, and a lady comes over and asks if he's alright. He then chokes her out, laughing while he does it. He then takes his trophy, cutting off her ponytail, which is why they call him Rapunzel. Gareth and Prader almost seem to be getting off to the video. Dexter watches in disgust. It is Dexter's turn, and instead of going over his process or telling a story, he's going to do something else. He's going to be vulnerable. He talks about having to have a mask on in public, hiding his true self, and that when he is killing is when he gets to take that mask off and be the real him. And it is exhilarating. Dexter isn't really lying to them here. This is how he feels, which is why they all believe him. They all get it. He never even mentions anything about Red's process or murders. Because if he did, I think they would know that he's lying, because it wasn't genuine. We are now with Batista, Detective Wallace, and Detective Olivia. Batista is kind of going crazy in her office, saying how convenient it was for Mia to have killed herself and that the cameras happened to have gone out in that area. We know Leon Prader was behind this, but Batista thinks somehow Dexter did this. That he somehow got the cameras to shut off, snuck into the jail, killed Mia, and faked her suicide. Olivia's looking at him like, dude, you're crazy, and seemed to be a bit obsessed. They talk about Ryan Foster's murder again, and Wallace says that out of all of Mia's trophies, Ryan's watch had no fingerprints on it. So it kinda seems like it was planted. I think Wallace thinks Batista is obsessed, but he does have valid points as well, that certain things aren't adding up. We are back with Dexter. Him, Gareth, and Al are sitting down for dinner. Gareth points out that Dexter didn't mention any details, which he finds a bit strange. He then talks about how crazy this year has been compared to previous ones, Mia's death, Lowell's disappearance. Gareth keeps asking himself what is different, and he looks straight at Dexter. So Gareth knows something is up, he just doesn't have any proof of it. Dexter knows this is what he's thinking. He needs to get rid of him as soon as possible. We're now with Prader. He has requested to see Dexter alone. Dexter's a little nervous, thinking he may be called out. But it is the opposite. Prader says his presentation was spectacular. That he showed real vulnerability. That he really got to see the workings of Dexter's mind. Prader then goes into really how this whole thing started, when his parents were killed in a drunk driving accident. And it seems Prader wanted some closure, so he wrote the driver who was in jail about how much pain he was going through without his parents. And the driver basically said he didn't care. He had no empathy for Prader at all. Prader then met him face to face, wanted to know why the driver did this. The driver said it was no accident, that he got into a drunken fight with his girlfriend and wanted to take it out on somebody. He saw Prader's parents' car and smashed into them. Prader was in the back seat and he watched his parents die. Dexter thinks about his own situation, that he and Prader kind of similar backstories. That when he was young, he watched his mother die. Granted, he was really young, but still, the damage was done and has made him into what he is. Prader continued to see the driver, even befriending him. The driver said Prader's parents weren't the first ones he killed, so this was Prader's first serial killer, and really where his fascination with them begins. Prader tells Dexter all this because his honesty today reminded him of the driver and the friendship they had. We're now with Batista. He looked through the DMV records to find Dexter's residence. He meets with Blessing and speaks with him. Blessing says Dexter is like family. You could tell Batista is annoyed about this, thinking about his own experiences with Dexter, that this is what he does, that he just fits in with groups of people no matter where he goes. We are back with Dexter and he's going to try some more honesty. He sees Gareth sitting by himself and goes up to him. He lets Gareth know that he knows he has a twin. Gareth denies it and even gets mad about it. Dexter asks what he thinks Prader would do if he knew the Gemini killer is the Gemini killers. Gareth says there is no way he would believe his crazy theory from the new guy. This is really smart of Dexter because it confirms Prader doesn't know about the twin, which allows for the next part coming up. Dexter says he won't tell, and then plays to Gareth's ego, saying what they have done is genius. Gareth then goes into it, that he and his brother created this together. Dexter says he envies their relationship, that they have someone to share this life with, someone to have your back, which I honestly do think Dexter wishes he had. He tried a couple of times for a partner in crime. You had Miguel, Lumen, Hannah, and Harrison. None have worked out. Dexter then reveals he followed him in the last episode to the bookstore. Gareth gets real quiet at this. Then Dexter goes further and says how he killed his brother. Gareth gets furious and tries to kill Dexter with a broken glass. Dexter is able to fight him off though, killing him. Prader and the rest come over. Dexter claiming it was self-defense. He says that Gareth was talking crazy, that he was going to kill him, Lowell, and Al, that it would be his ultimate share, and that he was a visionary. Prader takes responsibility for this, that he fed too much into his ego over the years, giving him delusions of grandeur. This scene really reminds me of what Dexter would do to Dokes. He played him like a fiddle. He egged him on and then got him to attack first, so everyone thinks he is the crazy one. If Prader knew about them being twins, Dexter would not have been able to do this, because Gareth could have just gone up to him and be like, hey, Dexter murdered my brother, yada yada yada, and Charlie could have just shot Dexter. Really, the smart move for Gareth would have just been to wait. This was not the time to go after Dexter. But what can you do? Dexter also takes care of the Lowell disappearance problem. We are with Harrison at the college. He is waiting for Dexter to come. Seems like he's going to be late though. Harrison meets a girl, Gigi, while he's waiting. They kinda hit it off. She has a brace on her arm and says somebody tried ramming her off her motorcycle on New Year's Eve. The only reason I bring this up is Prader just got done telling Dexter about how his parents died in a hit and run. Could he have done this? I know Prader is doing something shady. I just don't know what. I feel very much like Dokes at this moment. There is something off about him. The tour is over and Dexter missed the whole thing, but before they go, they can sit down and audit a forensic psychology class. Harrison walks in and sees Wallace is the one speaking. The two lock eyes. Harrison looks like he has never wanted to be in a room less. Wallace is going to speak about the New York Ripper. Dexter arrives a short time later and sits next to Harrison. Wallace stares at Dexter too, like she knows him. This confuses Dexter. He doesn't know that Batista has been sharing theories with her. We find out some info on the New York Ripper that he stopped killing years ago, but he still torments the victims' families, leaving voicemails about the horrific acts he caused. She then flips through the pictures of the crime scenes, people are disgusted and walk out of the lecture. Dexter and Harrison don't seem to mind it much. Wallace says that psychopaths cannot feel love and have no empathy. Harrison looks over at Dexter. Once this speech is over, Dexter tells him, yeah, he doesn't have emotions really, but he knows what he feels for Harrison is different, and that for him, it feels like love. And Harrison, I think, needed to hear that and thanks him. As they leave, they have a conversation with Wallace. Harrison tells her he wants to be a cop. Wallace says, following in your father's footsteps. Dexter is confused that she knows that. She lets him know Batista has been around talking to them. Dexter then starts talking crap about Batista, but in a nice way, trying to make him seem like a crazed person, which Wallace has kind of already seen, so it's not a stretch of the imagination for her. Dexter returns home to add the other twin to his blood slides. He then hears Batista upstairs. Dexter tells Batista he will give him a ride back to the hotel. The two sit there in silence, looking mad. Dexter tells him to stay away from him and his family. Batista says he's not going to back off. Dexter says if he thinks he is the Bay Harbor Butcher, that this can't possibly end well for Batista. And to be honest, he's right. Everyone who has come after Dexter has ended up dead. Batista says he will take his chances. Dexter tells him to get out. Batista does, but not before he drops his AirPods in the side console. For those who don't know, you can track your AirPods location on your iPhone, so Batista can see where Dexter is heading. So he may be able to see him go to Prader, which could make things into a giant mess for everyone. And that is the end of the episode. What did you think? Leave it down in the comments below. And if you want more Dexter content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below. And as always, have an awesome day.